thing. So it's actually Amaz on the bottom now and Xixo on the top, the way the spectator modes work. But we're going to flip that overlay around in just a second. So you can actually see it is a mech mage from Amaz, though there is a water elemental. Looks like he maybe just didn't draw what he needed in those early turns.
Yeah, so our speculation, or at least my speculation, was a little bit
your
off.
Speculation. Don't bring me in on this.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, just a little bit slow start, and that's kind of the risk of putting water elemental in, because you know you get a little more prone to slow starts if you're running too many 4-drops. He elects not to use the Frostbolt on the Acolyte of Pain and just saying, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna let you get your cards, but I want to develop my board as fast as possible.
Okay, so the cams have moved around. We just need to work on the names now. We're getting there. So the snow chugger comes out for Amaz, so he's going to be able to do a little bit of freeze maging of his own, especially with this water elemental as well. But what the advantage that water elemental gives you, I guess, in this match, Reynad's talked a lot about because he used the water elementals in his Blingtron mage deck. The advantage that he was playing is that, you know, against classes with weapons and classes with big damage, you can use the water elemental to freeze those minions and give yourself a little bit of reprieve and allow yourself to push advantages.
Yeah, kind of like the bigger version of Snow Chugger. I mean, obviously, that water elemental has always been a really terrifying card. It's just that sometimes you don't room for it in a deck where you're trying to get as many mechs in as possible. It's kind of difficult for Xixo at the moment because he could definitely overdraw. He has 7 cards in his hand at the moment. Go up to 9. Uses both Acolytes here, so I guess he's fine because he uses a card and then Amaz can't make him overdraw. So yeah, it should be okay. But I mean, all that said, Xixo is getting a lot of. Oh, he has Mirror Entity. This is actually super interesting. I just noticed that right now as he played it. So I guess that's not really an accomplishment. But yeah, plays Mirror Entity, and Amaz is probably not expecting Mirror Entity unless, you know, they worked on this deck together.
No, it's something that yeah, he's about to find out something that I remember discovering rank 15 plays. That when you trade the mirror, thinking, oh, well, if I put the Tinkertown Technician, I'll get 4/4, but he'll only get to 3/3, and that's not how it works because it's a battle cry. Yep. Unfortunately.
Hidden subtext, like if you hover over the card, it says like, if you play this in the Mirror Entity, it's gonna be the same exact thing, and then comma stupid parentheses. Yeah, it's really annoying, and they kind of have to have it that way, or else it's like something like Twilight Drake, where it's like you play a huge Twilight Drake and they get a 4/1. Kind of seems unfair. Just 3 men to get that out.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Alex Straza in hand for Xixo. He doesn't have a huge amount of the burn yet. Does have the Pyroblast, but both ice is going to be a little bit interesting to try and find the turns to play those. He would have been maybe looking for a Mad Scientist to get those plays.
Yeah, what did we get off the first Mad Scientist?
That's a good question.
Did we get nothing?
It must have been the Mirror Entity, right?
No, he played the Mirror Entity. Maybe he got nothing. Maybe the only secrets in the deck are 2 Ice Blocks and a Mirror Entity.
I find it, but he must be playing Ice Barrier, right?
Well, I mean, you have to cut something for the Mirror Entity, right? So maybe he just cut Ice Barrier for Mirror Entity, and put more card draw in. And he has 2 Loot Hoarders, which is not really standard either. So yeah, that could be the case. I don't think we saw any secret off of it. So that makes it a little bit harder to stay alive particularly against Mech Mage. He's wondering what to do with this Loot Hoarder situation where he might give his opponent a card. And he also might overdraw if he plays this. Well, no, he wouldn't overdraw, I suppose. Wait. Okay, he actually needs to play a Frostbolt or else he's going to overdraw. Yeah, he needs to play Frostbolt or else he's going to overdraw.
Yeah, so he's going to Frostbolt, looks like the Tinkertown Technician. Oh, he's going to go for the Pilot Shredder, maybe.
Yeah. Was he just trying to get like a Doomsayer or something like that?
I guess he does have Blizzard in hand, so he was thinking, I can kill it off anyway, and looking to get the most value from his Blizzard.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But a little bit unfortunate of a situation because he needed to use a card before, like he needed to use a card before he drew a card with his acolyte, and he needed to, and if he played the loot horde, then it might have spawned the mirror entity, which would have been bad too. So he played a 3-cost minion and then drew a card, ended up being Frost Nova, which was like actually what he wanted to play. Like he would have definitely wanted to play Frost Nova there to get some
well, we do see lethal from Amaz here with the fireball, so he's going to proc the ice block. Lethal damage in theory, but of course with the ice block, not actually lethal. But Amaz, he does have Frost Nova Doomsayer coming into hand now, as Blizzard as well. Yeah,
the problem is that he doesn't know if there's, what that left card in Amaz's hand is, and he's had that card Amaz had that card in his hand the entire time, if Xixo's been paying attention. And I mean, why else wouldn't you play it, right? There's like, why would you still have that card in your hand? So he's thinking that could definitely be some sort of burn. But yeah, so he could have maybe played the Frost Nova Doomsayer, but he goes to the Frost Nova Ice, sorry, not Ice, Ice Block.
Okay, Amaz playing out the Azure Drake here, which does mean that he's a little bit resistant to Blizzard. Isn't able to proc the second Ice Block this turn thanks to the Frost Nova, and we're probably going to see it's going to be a Doomsayer this turn. To get the mirror entity, yeah.
It's wait, hold on. So he's at 1 health. The ice block is gonna get proc next turn. So he has to 100% play Alexstrasza the turn afterward. There's nothing like he can't play around it unless somehow he can kill Amaz. So and I don't think he's playing Ice Barrier like he said. So oh, that's interesting. The mirror entity just kills everything off right away. I didn't even think about that. That's really
and the
cool.
loot hoarders as well. So yeah, that's going to be the proc there. Antonitis and a spare part, not the greatest spare part, but it'll certainly do.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because whatever Antonitis, he can just like fling fireballs. So yeah, he has to play. No, he can't play Alexstrasza. Wait, we're 1 turn off.
Yeah, we're 1 turn off, so he has to wait another turn before he can play the Alexstrasza. And in fact, Xixo just pings his own face, realizes that the game is beyond him, and a score is going to be 1-0 to Amaz so far in this series. And obviously you can see spectator mode. We don't have to re-enter the game, which is going to be fun if it works. We'll see how that goes. So Amaz going up 1-0 here against Xixo. We'll see what decks Xixo has left. Xixo has the Shaman and the Hunter to go against the Mech Mage, and we're going straight into that game now.
Let the hunt begin.
You asked for it.
HearthStats Champions League Season 1. Group D. Xixo versus Amaz.
Okay, so it's going to be the Hunter for Xixo, and that Glaive Zuka suggests that it's probably a hyper-aggressive Hunter.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. I mean, Mech Mage is pretty good against Shaman, so he's kind of forced into this. And, I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, unless this Hunter can do a lot of work, it feels like Amaz got the better end of the... but at least for the time being, Xixo has a reasonable start to maybe take this match.
Yeah, we talked about the Shaman being kind of a dead class in Xixo's lineup once, and it does feel like he's maybe just being outmatched here in the way the classes have lined up.
Yeah, that's kind of like the problem with bringing Shaman. A lot of people want to be cheeky and like, oh, Shaman, like it's not dead. I want to try to make it work, but sometimes you just kind of have to suck it up and realize that it's not the best class at the moment. I mean, we could be totally proven wrong. Maybe he just reversed all kills with the Shaman or something. But for now, it's kind of looking like it's putting me in a bad spot. Anyway, but we should just look at this game for the moment. We can talk about that later.
We see the double Mad Scientist for Amaz and the Dr. Bridman hand early, which I guess it's nice to have in preparation for turn 7, but he better cards in his hand in these earlier turns.
Yeah. So Amaz trades the 2-2 and 2-1 so that this 2-3 or this 2-2 ends up being safe, but then he gets armor plating, figures he might as well play it now because he's probably going to be using 4 mana next turn, and then who knows what the mana curve will or the mana situation will look like after this. Unfortunately, that makes it so it's really owlable, or this mad scientist at least. But Xixo goes for his own mad scientist. Figures that he wants to get those explosive traps. I assume those are explosive traps. Because it's probably, like you said, the more face-oriented hunter is what I'm gonna call it.
Face-orientated. I guess orientation is about direction, and face is certainly the direction that this deck wants to go.
Exactly.
Goblin Blast Mage in hand for Amaz is not a particularly useful card. It's one of the situational cards. It's kind of like when you end up with Goblin Blast Mage and Tinkertown Technician sitting and Cogmaster sitting in your hand. It never feels that great. Looks like he's going to try and he's going to kill off these mad scientists here. I guess recognizing that Maz probably doesn't have anything other than Mirror Entity, and forces him to burn that extra secret grab from the mad scientist. That's pretty useful from Xixo.
Yeah, definitely. That's the kind of the problem with playing both mad scientists out. I mean, Maz kind of had to, but yeah, definitely a bad situation. And that Goblin Blast Mage is actually really useful in this matchup. I mean, it's useful in almost every matchup, but yeah, having to you just have to get a mech on the board first. And Xixo's kind of reading Amaz's play and saying like, okay, you're playing out the right side of your hand. You probably have something expensive like Dr. Boom or Archmage Antonitis, and then like some sort of Frostbolt or Fireball as well. And then not really sure what the next card is, but like he's probably thinking of like a situational card like Tinkertown Technician. So I mean, I definitely wouldn't pass Xixo to like kind of put or kind of guess Amaz's cards more or less exactly. But he's put in a tough situation here. He's thinking whether to play this Hunter's Mark, whether to use the kill command, whether, I mean, if he owls it doesn't change the fact that it's a mech, so there's that. But he's gonna kill command face. That's very.
I guess he just wants to push in the damage as much as possible. Goes for the hero power and the Hunter's Mark to clear the spider tank, and that's actually even more crucial than Xixo might think, because there just isn't the options in hand for Maz, and we may see. I talked about the Cogmaster. We may see a Blast Mage come out here all by itself.
Yeah, Amaz's mech mage, not having enough mechs in it at the moment. Everything is relying on mechs, or at least the 2 minions that he's capable of playing right now are relying on mechs to be effective. And we see Leroy Jenkins, so a lot of damage coming out of Xixo. Unfortunately, I mean, we've talked about. I mean, obviously these decks are really aggro oriented, but they're actually still really high health at turn 6. I mean, Hunter definitely wants to be lower than 7 game.
Well, we do see the other mad scientist, and he's going to give that over to Amaz, giving him the third mad scientist. He's going to be able to silence it straight away. So really bad play with the mad scientist here with Amaz, not getting the mechs he needs. It's going to be really tough, but turn 7 Doctor Boom, suddenly things don't feel so bad.
Oh, he's going to use the Dr. Boom to try to snipe this owl out instead of using like actual, mana or minions to kill it off, and it works out. And what can Xixo do to get back into this? He's going to die next turn. He's dead.
It's yeah, it looks like that's lethal for Amaz. There was nothing that Xixo could do to answer the Doctor Boom, and it's going to go to 2-0 for Amaz's Mech Mage, and it's going to have to be the Shaman for Xixo. He's going to have to do wonders and reverse all kill here against the team captain.
HearthStats Champions League Season 1. Group D. Xixo versus Amaz.
Okay, so we see the Shaman there.
Job's done.
Look like any kind of mech Shaman. It looks like a fairly kind of standard mid-range Shaman. And a little bit of a better start for Amaz, but he doesn't have the Mech Warpers, doesn't have the Clockwork Gnomes or the Cogmasters. Well, there is a Cogmaster now, but it's going to be a turn 2 Snow Chugger, and that's going to be an okay opening play, but other than that, it's not looking like the greatest hand for either player at this point.
Yeah, I mean, for the moment. But that kind of favor Xixo if you think about it, because Mech Mage kind of relies on the fact that it can snowball so well, and you know, if you can give something like Shaman time. I mean, Shaman obviously has pretty cheap removal, but if you you know, if you give it time to set up its minions, that you could do a lot of things with it. So I think Xixo is about the situation so far, even though he didn't draw. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we talked a little bit. Xixo, I mean, Xixo he didn't immediately pick his Shaman, so he thought that his Hunter would do a little bit of a better job. So looking to be kind of a bad spot for Xixo overall, but in particular this game, it should be I mean, he's kind of looking okay for him. Traditionally, you're lower health, and this is a Shaman going into turn 4. He's not even overloaded. Amaz trading out that the 3/2 or the 1/2 that turns into 3/2 with the mech, forgetting the name right now, into the first half of the Harvest Goal, making Shredder. Xixo elects not to go for. Oh, okay, so he's just gonna hit it and Earthshock it, which is a pretty solid play.
Yeah, I think that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
There's not that many better things to Earthshock in this deck until you get to like booms and things like that. But Earthshocking that Shredder feels pretty good.
Yeah, getting that Big Game Hunter out is reasonable as well, even though he knows it's a Dr. Boom. It's not playing anything right now, and it can pretty much contest most things in Amaz's deck. In particular, like maybe he wanted to play, like for instance, he maybe had an Azure Drake that he decided to forego because, you know, of that Big Game Hunter. So Xixo does or what's in his hand, but that could have absolutely been the play. And there's a Doctor in a couple turns, so Xixo's not going to be happy about that one.
Well, the Anoritron does come out. We are going to start seeing these mechs coming out from Amaz, going into another turn 7 Doctor Boom, and of course the Big Game Hunter already gone from Xixo. What do you think about playing the Big Game Hunter out like that? I guess he didn't have a huge amount of options, but it did mean that he doesn't have it for the Doctor Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit. It's able to trade through a lot of things, and by getting rid of the minion before, I mean, maybe he sees like a naked blast mage that he could kill off. So, I mean, he figured that it limited Amaz's options, but as it turns out, he had a really solid turn anyway with the Spider Tank Frostbolt, and it didn't really change all that much. It could have been a really nice play, but depending on the cards in Amaz's hand, but it just kind of fell short right here.
Pharaoh's coming into the Doctor Boom turn, and he does have a Sludge Belcher in hand to try and slow that damage as well. But this board's starting to look pretty scary on Amaz's side.
Fortunately for Xixo, he does have that Spell Power totem, which will do a lot of work now with this Lightning Storm coming up. He really doesn't want it to kill his Lothar though, so he might actually play the Flame Tongue Totem first, just to get rid of this Anoitron, so he can run the Lothar into the Doctor Boom Storm. Or he's going for... Okay, he's going to do it this way to try to just increase the number of things on the board, because he knows that he can... As long as his Lothar lives, he can go ahead and kill that.
And it does double ones from the bombs.
Wow. Okay. So Amaz is looking to be in a really dominant position with those nice high-end cards in his hand that he was able to put on the board, but after that turn, Xixo's right back into the game.
Luckily draws a Mech Warper to activate his second Goblin Blast Mage, which kills off both minions on the board, gets a little bit of damage in, but probably just going to see a Sludge Belcher come down here. And what do you think about maybe even looking at the Hex on the Goblin Blast Mage? There aren't that many bigger cards left in Amaz's deck now.
Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, he's going to go for that, looks like. He's going to just kill off this Mech Warper first and Hex it. And you're absolutely right. There's not that much... There's really nothing big other than Archmage Antonitis. So, I mean, it costs more, but it's not actually bigger. And it's hovering over Enter button. It's like
Giant Azure Drake, boys.
Yeah.
That's a scary dragon.
Except it's sleeping right now. Don't worry about it. Don't wake up the dragon.
Whoa, that's an even bigger dragon. Okay.
Oh my god. What's happening?
And Xixo is just throwing everything out on the board here, trying to get some position back, try and press his advantage, having cleared that Doctor Boom. Okay, now we got a giant Tinkertown tech.
Tinkertown technician. He's just like, get out of my way, Dragon.
And that's reversing switch there, kind of like a lightning bolt, doing the 3 damage, killing it off. Obviously the 0 attack, swapping to 0 health. 0 health equals dead. I can do maths.
Yep, that Tinkertown technician is finally decided to rest on the board after all that. But yeah, very in this situation, very good. So he picks up the zombie chow. Wow, that's actually so good because then he gets to heal himself. It's like 1 mana, proc the 3-mana mirror entity, and heal yourself eventually. That's an amazingly good card for Xixo right now. So I would say Xixo's firmly in the lead because there's relatively even board and he gets to heal, and this density, the density of his deck is likely going to be higher from here on out.
Oh, Maz is resetting his sitting position. Obviously, that's probably going to change the game at this point. That's pretty.
What to do?
So what are you looking at here if you're Amaz? Are you maybe trying to kill the totems and then trade the Azure Drakes to, or use the Frostbolt? How would you play this turn if you were Amaz?
Yeah, the first thing you have to think about is, do I want, like, what direction do I want to go in? What do I want to just rush him down as fast as possible because I feel like my deck is inferior as far as density, or do I just try to, you know, get as good trades as possible because I have a nice hero power, and try to win, you know, a little bit the game of attrition and hope that, you know, Xixo just draws a bunch of, you know, like basically Earth Shocks and has, you know, nothing substantial come up from here. So yeah, he's gonna go like a bit half and half and not deal with the Hunter Creeper, but everything else, he's allowing himself to get a lot of damage in. And second Hex coming out. Are we gonna see it on this this Tinkertown, because it's gonna be really hard to get rid of Antonidas if he uses it right here.
I think he's wondering how many turns he's going to stay alive towards if Antonidas comes out, or even if this game's going to go long enough for Amaz to draw Antonidas at this point.
Yeah. So Sludge Belcher is a nice card. He did have that from a turn earlier, and so is Pile of Cheddar. But as we can see, typically Sludge Belcher, you know, wins that matchup.
Yeah, and we're going to see 2 minions traded into that Sludge Belcher there. The heal from the Zombie Chow. That's, the Fire Elemental. Such a great pickup. Gonna kill this 4-3. And we'll see what comes out the Shredder. And this is a Doomsayer. It is not. And it feels like Amaz is probably out of this game at this point.
Ultimate Antonidas, he doesn't have anything to allow it to, you know, get its cycle of fireballs off. He's gonna hit it with the 1/1. Okay, so he's just gonna increase the power of his board with those 2 1/1s. He's gonna get the 1/1 if he keeps toteming up. And that healing totem is kind of like playing against a priest. Like, Amaz had to kill the Sludge Belcher right away instead of getting a better trade later, because otherwise the math was gonna get really ugly with all the healing. So he's forced to hit the Fire Elemental, and at this point, the hero power of Xixo is going to start outdoing the hero power of Amaz.
Oh, that is a perfect card to refill the hand of Xixo. These 2 players are top decking for their lives at this point. And let's see. Oh, he got the Cold Light Oracle. And the Tide. And you're looking at the Murlocs to come off this here. The Tide Color is often the most important because it can snowball. With the Murlocs like this, it's going to go up to 3-2.
Yeah, and if Amaz decides to ping off like one of the... Okay, he's just gonna give up. Right.
That's fair enough. I don't blame Amaz.
Yeah, it was over. No way to kill him from that point.
So what do you think about the priest? So we see that Light of the Naru in the priest hand for Amaz. He is going for the priest, like we suggested. The Dark Cultist as well. Light of the Naru is a card we saw get a lot of work done for Dark Wonix on day 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. You can put it on into your Blade Master and still draw a card because of the massive health that it has. It does a lot of work in Priest sometimes. And did we see that right? Did you see him keep the Harrison Jones in his opening hand?
I think so, yeah. Obviously, you can never quite tell with spectator mode because it is a little bit hard to see, but it looked like he did keep that Harrison Jones, which is interesting considering he didn't see a Doomhammer or Power Mace or anything in the last game.
Yeah, he didn't see any means at all.
Any weapons.
Yeah, or sorry, weapons. That's the word I was looking for. I'm sorry.
Lotheb's a great pickup off a Thought Steal, as is Alec here, but I think the Lotheb could well end up being more important as the matchup shakes out.
Yeah, Amaz's legendary, amazing cards, pun intended, with his Thought Steal coming into play here. Just gonna hero power his face and no threaten though. No, the light shall burn you. Just yeah.
No, you don't want to threaten a teammate. That feels unsporting.
Just a bit.
You can see this is a much slower game now. The Mech Mage is out of the way. It's turn 5 before any damage starts coming in, but turn 6 Fire Elemental, turn 7 Doctor Boom.
Ooh, that is a card, as Amaz would say.
That's a card.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's gonna go ahead and throw this Northshire Cleric down as well, just to. I mean, he figures that this Soul Priest is going to die one way or the other, and if it lives, good, he gets to use his hero power as a nice weapon, and if it dies, then he has Northshire Cleric on the board to get some work in.
Well, the Fire Elemental comes down and clears out the rest of the Northshire, and as I said, turn 7 Doctor Boom for both players could well be the play. Do you think we possibly see a Lotheb coming out here, but the Shadow or Death on the Fire Elemental is another possibility.
Yeah, Maz did see the Neptulon from last game, so he's wondering whether he should death this, but yeah, he doesn't know that, you know, there's
boom very next turn.
Yeah, exactly. So right now seems reasonable because otherwise your Northshire Cleric just dies for free. But yeah, we're probably gonna see that Doctor Boom. I don't see. I mean, what else could you play here? You could go Lightning Storm and Feral Spirit. Yeah, it's just everything's just so ugly, and you're not gonna die anytime soon anyway. So might as well just get this done out in the field.
Xixo does have the big game Hunter in hand if Amaz just decides to answer one Doctor Boom with another. But that Vol'jin actually is an interesting possibility. You could go for the Vol'jin, yeah, and then trade with the Light Warden. So that's a pretty good way to clear it. That feels pretty good as a way to clear it, that Doctor Boom.
Oh, and the Boombot doesn't kill that Northshire Cleric, so he's allowed to draw a card as well. So that's a really important non-hit by the Boombot. And yeah, Xixo not very happy about that top deck from Amaz. He was, I mean, part of the reason why he played the Doctor Boom, other than being perfectly 7 mana, was that he reasoned that there like he just used, or Amaz just used a Shadow Word Death. So, but he does have a good answer. He's gonna just first shock it and then hit it. Very nice.
Second Elemental. Velen's Chosen. That's an interesting card. That's one of those cards I think when GVG first came out or was being trailed that everyone saw that card and thought, whoa, that's a lot of stats for that mana, but it's not really found its way into many decks yet.
Yeah, people, pros in particular, tend to shy away from cards that only buff, and it's not like a minion plus a buff, because, you know, it could just get silenced and all of a sudden you're just trading, you're basically using half of a card or a third of a card, however you want to use like the silence, or however you want to view the silence, to just eliminate
so things like Mark of the Wild are pretty uncommon.
Yeah, exactly. Even though Velen's Chosen does provide a huge buff. The other issue is that it's hard to fit it into priest decks because they already have so many slots. So Amaz in a bit of trouble here. Decides to go for this. What's he gonna hit here?
Yeah, he's gonna hit the Lotheb and the Fire Elemental, and then yeah, he's gonna. He was hoping that he'd be able to kill the Fire Elemental with the bomb, but he's gonna be able to clear the boards.
Okay, so he was in a little bit of trouble there, but you know, having that Alec here really helped him out. So what looked like to be a really pretty poor situation for Amaz. He's right back into the game again, and that just shows the power of priest, guys. You can steal your opponent's cards and use them against them.
Absolutely. Sludge Belcher, Feral Spirits, Taunts for Days, and a second Auchenai for Amaz. Interesting.
Yeah, that picks up another circle. But yeah, that double 5-drop is pretty reasonable. But this Flame Tongue Totem could do a lot of work here.
I have a rank 15 question for you, D2.
Sure.
Just looking at the Okanai and the villains chosen in the hand for Amaz. Does spell power work with X?
I'm sorry, you got cut off for a second there. Does spell power work with what?
With attacks from Okanai Soul Priest.
I think, yeah, spell damage doesn't work with hero power, so...
If it, okay, so if it was like a circle of healing, though.
Oh, that's what you're saying. I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does.
Maybe we'll see, but that Harrison Jones has been in hand all game is going to come out just now.
Yeah. One thing he could do is, I mean, you couldn't really do it because it would just die. But if you put the Akanai on the board, actually, I was thinking something else. Never mind.
Great job, D2.
Yeah, I know. I just like led myself down a rabbit hole that I couldn't get out of. So I quit. I just quit while I was ahead, or not that far behind. To cut my losses is the word I'm looking for. Anyway.
It'll be interesting to see if Amaz has any other big threats in the deck. We saw the boom already, and the same with Xixo. You know, he does have the Neptulon somewhere, but we've seen the boom, we've seen the fire elementals. That Holy Nova, that could be pretty crucial.
Yeah, what can you do with it?
You can Pyromancer Holy Nova and kill the totems.
He can Pyromancer Valen's Choseness and Holy Nova, and that clears everything but the 1/2, and it would make the 1/2 go to 1/1. But then what was Pyromancer be left at? It would be plus
Pyromancer would be
4.
2, right?
Oh, it's plus 4 health, I believe. So you go
plus 4 health, so it takes 2 attacks and then gets healed up with a Holy Nova.
Yeah.
So it would be at 5, right? Okay, so he's gonna go with the. Yeah, he's just Shadow of Death.
Oh, he's just gonna clear the board this one. Oh no.
Yeah, he's gonna clear the board because of the death and the balance chosen. But he's not gonna kill the Flame Tongue Totem. He's gonna kill everything around it.
Okay, so Maz is showing his mastery of Priest, just getting the most out of that without even using Holy Nova.
Oh, that's huge. That's gonna kill the Pyromancer off. That spell power totem, absolutely crucial at this point.
Yeah, that's the danger with Villain's Chosen, obviously, because something like that could just wipe it out. He's probably gonna kill the Flame Tongue here.
Yeah, I think so. We see the Sylvanas coming into hand. That could really threaten this board. As I say, in many ways they are kind of top decking a little bit here because especially Xixo doesn't have anything that's hugely useful, and he's going to put a Hex on this. So does he have any way to deal with the Sylvanas? I think. Have we seen both Hexes from Xixo?
Yeah, we've seen both Hexes. The first Hex went on really early in the game against a Dark Cultist. And double Rockbiter. How much damage do you have? He has 9 right now. But then there's also the... Oh, and he picks up the Taunt Totem, which he thinks could be a big deal. But yeah, he's not going to go ahead and use those Rockbiters now. And
this game actually feels like Amaz is kind of in control a little bit, because that Mind Control means that whenever something big does come out for Xixo, he's going to be able to steal it. And
Maz's top deck have been a lot better coming into this late game. I mean, Sylvanas in the Mind Control, whereas Xixo had like he went from Zombie Chow to Rockbiter. And
that's
his Lightning
not
Storm's not very good either. Very good either. So yeah, Xixo's gonna. I mean, there's almost nothing he can do, right? I mean, even if he top decks something amazing, it just gets mind controlled. So, I mean, it seems weird to call it right now, but this game is almost over.
Yeah, like I was saying, it does feel like Amaz, just because he has the Sylvanas, because he has the Mind Control, anything that Xixo has left in his deck, and I don't think he has anything except the Neptulon to threaten, is just going to get stolen. Well, Spell Power Totem means that he can actually kill both minions here, which is good thanks to that Spell Power Totem. Again, a perfectly timed Spell Power Totem.
Yeah, and he's just gonna go face here because he doesn't really feel like he feels like he needs to damage 1 and 2 and even Thought Steal.
Thought Steal, man. Oh
Very...
my
he
god!
gets
Second Alec here.
Oh my goodness.
What even is that?
I kind of like this holding up right here because Xixo showed that he can't deal with it, and at the very least he's reluctant to deal with it. So, he's immediately totem. I think I might want to just kill it and then get my Mantide out, but just like see if I can draw a bunch of cards. I guess he feels like the only way he's ever gonna win if he draws, you know, a way to use those or get Wind Fury on those Rock Biters. I don't know if he has Doom Hammer or anything, but Xixo, look at his face. He's like, really? Second Alec.
Well, he knows the Alec here is in his deck somewhere, and he's been digging for it desperately. And Amaz gets 2, so it's Crackle. But I think
why can't I have Alec here? Why do you get Alec?
He's in my deck. Why don't I get to play him?
This Crackle's gonna go for 4.
Oh.
Much.
7 maximum cracklage.
Just kidding. Okay, Light in the Rue. Okay, Sludge Belcher. I mean, this Sludge Belcher is probably gonna lock Xixo out of the game. Amaz is probably gonna go face here. Like, even if he picks up Alec here right now, like no matter what he picks up, he's gonna get mind controlled, like we said. Naptulon, but he's dead on the board, right?
He's dead. He's dead on board.
He's a Rock Biter to start clearing the board here. Oh no, wait, he can't.
Okay, yeah, you can Rock Biter the Harvest Golem and kill off the first bit of the. Yeah, no, he's dead on board because he can clear the Sludge Belcher, but there's nothing he can do after that. What can he? No, yeah, he doesn't have enough mana. There's nothing he can do. This is out of reach of Xixo, and Amaz is going to take this 3-1 off the back of Mech Mage and the Signature Priest.